Let's see here. Testing, testing. Okay, sweet. The audio's working. Let's see. Starting about 1 minute here, folks. Thanks for popping in, guys. I'm not too sure about the music. You guys are gonna have to let me know how the music volume is, because it's like not showing on the stream. I hope it's not too loud or too quiet. Usually I have this figured out by now. But thanks for popping in, guys. It's Tuesday, May 12th. And we got 3 more days until this major Fed pivot here. The Senate did confirm, however, that Kevin Warsh will be on the Fed board. Looks like there was one Democrat who voted against John Fetterman, that weird-looking guy. Oh no, it was one Democrat who voted with the Republicans, I see. That John Fetterman guy's a funny character, man. If you look him up, like, he was very hated initially, but I think he just, like, votes with Republicans most of the time. So the Democrats aren't very happy with him, but yeah, man, things are moving along nicely for Kevin Warsh to get sworn in a couple days. It's been a tumultuous time for crypto. We got the Clarity Act getting fleshed out in the background. New Fed. Look at Arthur Hayes calling for Bitcoin to explode. I'd be a little cautious of super bullish calls on Bitcoin right now in a bear market, but yeah, I think we could be hopeful for Kevin Warsh, but also these new Fed chairmen, when they come in, the markets really don't like it, man. Like, it is a lot of uncertainty. That power is so centralized, and such major policies are decided by unelect. I mean, the Fed is not a branch of government, so. But let's start with a little top-down analysis here on Bitcoin. So let's check our monthly chart here. How's that looking? I got my coffee here. Shout out to all you guys in the chats. We got Salty TA, Rye Guy, Fly Guy, Radiel Gaio, Brittany Baker, Rasmus, Zoinked, Will Kong, Hunter. Yeah, it's weird that you guys can't hear this music. Let me see if I can, like, crank it up a bunch. All right, that should be a little bit better. It's kind of quiet. Alrighty, here's our monthly chart on Bitcoin with Market Cipher. We got this trigger wave situation that we're dealing with. We are over the year-to-date VWAP. The only thing, guys, is we're at this VWAP from the all-time high. Like, you put this VWAP on the all-time high, and, you know, we are either at or approaching that major resistance. So the signs of this pump to the upside, you didn't need the monthly chart to get you into this move. It was showing, Market Cipher was showing beautiful bottom signs on the 2-week, on the weekly. So depending on the time frame, it's lagging. On other time frames, it's leading. But yeah, man, we already pumped up into this major resistance here. So this VWAP from the all-time high, I mean, this is essentially the bear market itself, guys. Would you say? This is basically the bear market itself. I mean, if you pump over this, you call the bear market into question. So, you know, that's what this VWAP represents. The negative sentiment ever since that day, ever since that big sell-off day. You know, we've had these warning time frames. These middle daily time frames have been so worrisome for us. I mean, little red dots flashing in and out and all that stuff. But overall, the money flows are trending up, and the momentum is still high. It's not like the momentum is coming down, man. Not yet, at least. This daily chart, for instance, you know, the waves are giving us these red dots, but the overall trend is still bullish here. See, the Heiken Ashi trend on our daily chart, still white, still looking good here. And look, we're getting a big green candle off of that Heiken Ashi support right there. Looks like we're holding the month to date. I haven't even zoomed in much yet, but it looks like on the small time frames, there was some good action here in the last 24 hours. My gosh, what was I missing? I couldn't come out yesterday, guys. I was doing one-on-ones, but I am back out tonight, so I have some one-on-ones tomorrow too, but I'll try and do a stream anyways. But yeah, I was helping some people out last night, and I got super tired, man. I didn't have the energy in me to stream again. But there's something we got to talk about on this daily chart. I mean, this right here, a daily candle wick going below the previous in the uptrend. Once again, another solid daily swing failure pattern kind of situation here. What does this look like on the scalp time frame? I like this action holding the month to date VWAP, guys. I told you guys if we lose the month to date, it's not the end of the world. It can come back. I'm trying to get an idea of these daily levels. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these were your daily lows right here. You come down into them, and it is a scary time. But look, we don't even come to the previous weekly high. We already tested that here, huh? So, whereas this was, we got a little bit of action underneath, like the previous weekly high. That's the top of that previous week's range. Like, see these highs over here? This was a really important resistance that got flipped to support. So, interestingly, we're seeing Bitcoin finding a bottom above that. And ultimately, it's a sweep of these daily candle levels that mark the bottom there. So, you know, that's something that's part of the curriculum is you have an overall trend bias, and then you look for this type of move right here, guys. This type of thing here. This type of thing here, this type of thing here, this type of thing here. It happens all the time, guys. It actually happens all the time. If you miss one, it's not the end of the world because another one's probably coming in the same week. So if you have a good idea of the trend, that's the flop and groper sauce. If you guys want the leapfrog indicator that calls out these levels, 50% off with code VWAP, link in the description. We've also got some other juicy sales here. 40% off Market Cipher at marketciphertrading.com with code BLUEWAVE. Get Market Cipher A, B, SR, DBSI, and you trade with CryptoFace in the official Market Cipher Discord here. And we got the breakout deal too. So code FG for all your breakout challenges. I recommend the One Step Classic. But yeah, man, overall, you know, there has been this move was nice, but overall Bitcoin is just ranging. It's not doing anything extremely exciting going into this Fed pivot. It's waiting for potentially that day to make a real decision as to where it wants to go, maybe. So the field has been set here. We've got a pretty clear weekly range. We've got our weekly high up here from last week. And we've got last week's low. So this is our range here. You can see prices fiercely rejecting off the midpoint. It's staying pretty bullish toward the top of this range, holding that month-to-date VWAP, which is what the bulls want to see going into that Fed meeting. Looks like, you know, we came in and spent a lot of time digging in down on this previous week's week-to-date VWAP, that kind of dimmer orange line in the background there. But now it looks like we could be reclaiming that week-to-date, this week's week-to-date. So, you know, while the week started off rocky, guys, pay attention to the price around the week-to-date VWAP. As you can see right now, the week is kind of flipping bullish here. So it's up to the bulls to stay above this level, to keep pulling this, see the 5 SMA. We got to pull that 5-day SMA back into an uptrend like that, which would put it back in line with the rising 20-day trend, which is like all the way. I got to enable it real quick. Where's that rising 20-day trend? All right, so the rising 20-day trend is down here at around 79. Still very upsloped. A lot of tailwind there. Giving you a clue that, you know, this month-to-date VWAP, that's a strong support, man. Like, ultimately, price held that, which is what you would want to see in this overall uptrend. So, you know, while rocky, while a little bit difficult, it's the price is doing okay, man. The bullish SFPs are working on the daily chart. It's holding important metrics to gauge the uptrend. So I guess I'm still kind of a little bit bullish today. I guess I'm still bullish today. You know, last stream we were coming up into that big resistance up here. But I like the strength that we're displaying on top of the month-to-date VWAP. It's up to Bitcoin to hold the May VWAP. Once you lose that May VWAP, the sell in May situation starts to get a little more loud. You start to consider that a little more. But for now, man, with a rising 5, 20-day, month-to-date, we got a bullish Q2 VWAP and a bullish year-to-date VWAP. Look at this bullish cross, actually, that we got. We actually got a bullish cross of the quarterly VWAP over the year-to-date VWAP. Right here. And that did lead to a lot of weird volatility. Look at that weird spiky volatility that happened right around that time that Q2 VWAP crossed over the year-to-date. That's kind of interesting. It's like a bullish thing, but also there was a little bit of a, you know, price almost wanted to like shoot back to this down here, but buyers came in and, you know, the buyers are holding this thing up, man. We're holding these big trends. Yeah, I would say now is not the time to look for positions. If you were looking at the chart earlier today, when you took out these previous daily lows, you know, this wick action right here was the trade. This is when you wanted to jump in and then ride it pretty much all the way to the top of the range if possible. You know? So if you're not in that move, I would say my advice, my non-official financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but potentially wait for the weekly range to get tagged. You know, previous weekly high, previous weekly low. Right now, you're right in the middle of that range. So it's really not the best time to consider positions. Like, risk is high here in the middle of the range. We're not really sure how choppy this is. Like, are we just going to chop and consolidate going into the Fed decision or not? Don't really see a clear sign of direction just yet here. It is a nice sign that we're coming out over that week-to-date VWAP, though. Catching up with the chats. Brittany Baker says, reminds me of Kung Fu Hustle a bit. I love that movie. Oh, I think she's talking about the intro with the wizards. Henry the Man says, yo, Nick, you were the man. Nah, man, you're the man, Henry. Your name is Henry the Man. Brittany Baker is hopeful for Warsh. You know, there was some good things about this Warsh fellow. Let me see if I can find it. He does have a favorable crypto outlook, or he owns cryptos. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, I mean, he has, so they dug up his prior investments. He's familiar with crypto markets, layer 1s and layer 2s, and prediction markets. So Warsh is a freaking, they're trying to make you think Warsh is trading Pepe and all this shit. Oh, he's just a cool guy, man. Everything's gonna be great. But yeah, man, he's not a dinosaur. He's like, he knows about crypto, so that's good. Hunter x Hunter said, just dropped a Heikinashi strategy indicator in Nick's Discord. Let's take a look here. Oh, I see it. All right, so we have a fan-made indicator here. Hell yeah, man! Let's see what you came up with. Crypto Nomad says, good morning from Thailand. Appreciate the daily streams. Oh, subscribe to our guy, Medicated Mind here. I'll go ahead and give you a sub, man. Anybody in the community, man, I'll gladly support you guys. I'd rather have you guys pop up in my feed than the goy slop crap that I usually get. Made by a man named Hunter who hunts for the most powerful Heikinashi to be used with MarketCipher for better filtered alerts. Open for those in FG's Discord. Okay. Well, we're sharing it with the YouTube, man. Hopefully we'll get you some subs and get your stuff off the ground here, man. But yeah, I'll check out the Heikinashi tool. I'll check out the tool. How do I enable it? What's it called? Oh, here we go. Yeah, man, it's easier than ever to make a good indicator, man. This looks cool, man. A lot of like buys and sells. I'm not really a buy-sell indicator guy, but this is all good stuff, man. Looks like MarketCipher A. Looks like the smooth Heikinashi, like the same kind of. I like this a lot, man. When it flips red and it's sloped down, I mean, it's moving down. So smooth, man. That's smooth. Rady El Gallo says, salute, shout out to FG. We appreciate your analysis and time. I appreciate you guys coming out every day pretty much talking about charts. I mean, you guys are not normal people, man. We come out sometimes even on Fridays and Saturdays, and we just talk about Bitcoin price. No, nobody cares about Bitcoin anymore. Nobody cares about freedom. Nobody cares about the revolution of money. Everything's been extracted, max extracted, taken advantage of, raped, pillaged. We're in the aftermath of all those great movements that we enjoyed in the last 2 decades. I feel like that's how it feels. It feels like we're in the aftermath and no one cares anymore. But that's sad because the fight is not done for Bitcoin, and what Bitcoin, Bitcoin's end game and what it seeks to accomplish is not even close to being finished. Rye Guy is a Fly Guy says, IMO bullish. It hasn't hit the all-time high VWAP and is consolidating right under. Let that daily RSI cool and then go for it. I think that's a good take, man. I think that until the May VWAP is sufficiently lost, until we're pulled into a 5-day SMA downtrend, until we're losing the 20-day SMA, yeah, man, I'm still aiming for a hopeful upside here, Mr. I Am Slate says, what's your projection like? My projection for now is bullish, man. For now on Bitcoin, things are looking bullish going into this Fed pivot. Holding monthly VWAP, very strongly holding over the quarter and the year today. It's like not even called into question whether the quarter or the year is bullish now from a volume weighted standpoint, which is crazy. Not that I'm telling you to get, all frothy and floppy and gropey and bet the farm, because the window of opportunity for this nice little move to the upside is, we're already close to that resistance. So, the trade is aging, but there could be a little juice left here, man. We could go to like 90K. There's maybe like 5 to 10% of this move left, maybe. I'm curious. Let's pick previous quarterly. Let's do a quarterly analysis. We don't do that often. Previous quarterly SR. Now look at this, guys. So this is something we might want to look out for over the summer. If we continue bullish, guys, which we very well could, the May VWAP, look how the May VWAP came and we never returned back to the April VWAP. It's like we missed the bus. You missed the bus. It's like that episode in SpongeBob where you're in rock bottom and like you need to catch the bus or you're stuck for a whole nother night. We missed the bus. We're stuck down here with all the other losers who weren't bullish on Bitcoin if you didn't just jump in on that May VWAP. But yeah, man, this May VWAP is floaty and sketchy if you're bearish, man. Like, we need to lose that May VWAP before you really flip too bearish. There's a possibility in my mind that there's bullishness after this Fed decision initially. It doesn't last, but this interaction will be key. Getting over this VWAP from the all-time high. This is the bear market itself from a volume-weighted standpoint. You come out over that, and if you come out and take out last quarter's high, all you got to do is tag 100K, and you just wipe out an entire quarter of traders. See this? And that would be a massive high time frame liquidation event. Probably a massive short from that point. That would be brutal. But it makes sense because look what happens around quarterly ranges, guys. Look, you had Q1. This was your Q2 range. Q1 range. As soon as April comes, you take out that range. Boom. The entire range gets reversed and consumed. Happened again in like Q3. Like you had a Q3 low and a Q3 high, right? Well, look, when Q4 comes, you come up, you take that out, and then boom, you know? So here we are in a new quarter. And it seemed like almost like an obvious bet that this Q2 VWAP would come down and take out these people right here. And then do this move. This right here was what a lot of analysts, like Ben Cowan, was thinking that this would be the case, right? This is like a baseline, you know, anybody who was calling for this, they're not crazy. Like, this is the type of action that you would expect on Bitcoin's macro. So I wouldn't, like, I don't really want to beat up anybody who was calling for this move at the start of Q2 because, hell, man, I would have been excited from that move as well if it happened. The only thing is, where's all the volume? When a new quarter begins, all the volume is back at the Q1 VWAP. So looks like that high time frame liquidity event down here got averted, which makes you think a little bit, which makes you think, what if it's the other side? What if in a bear market we don't get that obvious bullish 3-month candle SFP? You know, this is something that would happen in a bull market, in an overall macro uptrend, right? In a bear market, it's like, you know, we're going down here anyways eventually, right? So we don't need to come and take that yet. What's more lucrative for the market makers is to come up and get an SFP around quarterly highs. Let's wipe out all the people from Q1 and then go down lower. You know? Not that I have the conviction to do another 100K push-up challenge, guys. Not gonna lie, I don't think it's the time. I wouldn't want to do that until later in the year, around better 4-year cycle timing. But it is something to consider, man. Like if things keep going bullish, like that's what's probably going down, is this high could get taken out. I'm not married to that idea, though. I'm mostly I'm restrained. I'm constrained around our typical trends that we follow on this channel, the 5-day SMA, 20-day. I'm looking at the slopes of those. I'm looking at how we're doing on the monthly VWAP. Decrypto says a huge player is filling a monster short here. Almost 3,000 BTC between here and 81.4. It doesn't really say too much. It doesn't really say too much in and of itself. Could just be fuel for more upside, or it could be the start of a dump going into the Fed pivot, but Real Cipher Rider says, let's long the top to 100K. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that that this is where we would be back when this weekly wave was pinching to the upside back in February. Like, I knew that this was going to be something. I knew it was going to be something, but I didn't know it was going to be something like that. Like, now we're at this point where, shit, man, the weekly hike in a she's bullish. We're getting a monthly, like, trigger wave here. It's like, crap. Yeah, man, I mean, look at this monthly chart. This high right here. What if June is nuts? What if in June you just come up like that? and then you dump from there. That actually like looks quite plausible here. I mean, so notice how back in the last cycle there was a crash. We lost the Heiken-Ashi uptrend for the first time basically since the COVID crash. But look what happened. There was a rally back up, and look, we took out that candle high. See that? We took them out, and then we continued the bear market. You know, nobody knows what's going to happen, but the only thing we'll agree on is that we should have seen it coming. So if Bitcoin comes out and takes out that January high, it's like you should have seen it coming. That is like the juiciest place for market makers to load up massive swing shorts. I mean, if you slap an anchored VWAP on any candle last year, look where all that volume is, guys. It's up higher in the 90Ks. My mind is open, man. My mind is open for higher. When it comes to the actual executions, though, guys, I'm not telling you to hold on to the big hero trade. Not at all. Typically, I'll just, you know, I get you guys looking for little moves like this. When a daily candle comes below the previous and you're in an uptrend, like that was a nice little bottom there. It happened here. Happened back here. Happened here. Happened here. It happens all the time, man. So that's the only setup that I would recommend messing around with, unless you have a solid strategy that you're comfortable with, unless you're experienced in these markets. Those seem like the most obvious plays to take right now in this environment. Audio Man says he's looking at a couple macro fibs right above our current level. See what happens if and when we tag them. Scalping for now. Yeah, man, I think that just scalping it is nice, but having that overarching idea of the trend is really helpful for that scalping. Doc DeGoat says, hooty hoo, what up FG, what's good everybody, hope everyone's profitable and healthy. Yeah, man, we're doing great, man. I just went for a hike today. I have a nice sun-kissed glow, as you guys saw in the thumbnail. Life is good, man. I just planned a trip to go see Patrick Bet David in Vegas in a couple months, and then after that, I think I might be going to a tropical island nation. I might have some cool day trader content for you guys like later in the year. But for right now, man, I'm just getting my tan on, getting my hike on, you know, playing video games, staying out of trouble, hitting these plays, doing these streams for you guys, man. So yeah, life's good, man. Looking at the heat map, some schmucks just got taken out up here. Some flopping gropers just flopped and groped. A lot of heat down here underneath that SFP low. That was a strong technical bottom. You know? I mean, getting a daily candle that goes lower than the previous. I mean, look, this is looking solid here on the daily chart. I love the buyers came in and really made it kind of obvious looking that that the bulls are still in charge here for now. Audio Man says, don't take any Honda cruises. Yeah, fuck that, man. I'm waiting a couple months. It's going to be in like September that I do any of that traveling. Doc the Goat says, one of the coolest vacations I went on was to the most random place ever, frickin' Zanzibar. It was one of the best experiences ever. Damn, dude, Zanzibar. I remember like staying up late at night as a kid, watching like jewelry infomercials and like it would be some Tanzanite from Zanzibar or some shit. This like old hen lady was trying to sell me. I was like a 7-year-old kid, but yeah, it was like the last time I heard Zanzibar. That place is probably beautiful, man. Sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons jungle fantasy place. Yeah, man. Let's do the Wordle real quick. Let's hit this Wordle. Zanzibar chocolate ice cream is fire. Dude, I gotta try that, man. I want some ice cream. Alright, guys, let's play some Wordle here. Alright, give me a 5-letter word. Damn. Alright, I just eliminated a bunch of letters here. Ounce. Alright, that was a good guess, man. We got a letter C in the right place. What if it's Glock? Oh, I can't type that? What? Okay, flick. Okay. There's an O in there. Chris Kelly says, thank you for coming out night after night. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming out night after night, man. You guys are relentless, man. It's crazy. Okay, so that third letter is O. Lock. Glock? Glock? Dlock? Plock? Tlock? Plock? What the f... Clock. Clock. Yes. I almost got clock blocked. Yeah, it wasn't Glock. They didn't let me do Glock. It's like not a word, man. I guess that's only a word in certain neighborhoods. Not in the neighborhood where people play Wordle. But yeah, guys, you know, if you didn't get in on this daily SFP, well, then you're shit out of luck. We're kind of just range bound here in this prior weekly range here. Weekly low down here at 78. We don't want to go down here because then you lose the rising 20 day. You lose the month to date. So, I mean, it's really up to the bulls to stay on the upper half of last week's range, which we are doing. We're holding the month to date. We got a daily SFP again. Buyers stepping in and keeping the trend intact going into that Fed pivot, guys. I think there's a chance that the highs do get run going into the pivot. But the time for entry on that trade, it does seem like back here, you know, when this smooth Heikin-Ashi was flipping, you got this big buy candle. You know, this was around the region that you wanted to kind of get into that type of idea. Right now, you're at week-to-date resistance, so maybe you could get a re-entry back on the 5-day SMA here. Maybe there is a place to hop in here around this. You know, now that we've reclaimed the 5-day SMA and we have this nice little head and shoulders formation here on Bitcoin, we don't need to go too much lower. We don't need to lose the month to date or anything. Like, I think that we could maybe just come down like this and just go up, you know? I think that is a possibility. But ultimately, the time is running out, man. I mean, we could just be going sideways going into this Fed pivot. The market could just be stalling out. It could already be like priced in and waiting for the actual event to take place. But yeah, we've got till this date, the 15th, and we're going to slap an anchored VWAP on that date. And we're going to see how Bitcoin does. And let's take a look at some altcoins here. Let's take a look at XRP. XRP came out and took out the previous day's candle, plunged into that rising daily hike on a Shi, but it found buyers. So now the buyers have stepped in here. The longs have positioned themselves already, and what they're hoping for is that we go back to the top of the range and we hold the overall trend going into the Fed pivot. So a very similar situation to what's going on with Bitcoin. Ethereum really getting tested here. Just barely clinging to life on that Q2 VWAP, but it is still holding nicely on that Q2 VWAP. The pinch is still alive between Ethereum's year to date and this rising Q2 VWAP. So, you know, we're battering the resistance with enough taps. This thing could eventually go down. You know, there's a chance here for ETH to come out of this unscathed. Like ETH could be in an ascending triangle formation here, even though it's a very boring, painful, choppy, and quasi disappointing move compared to some other coins we've seen. It was one of the first to get its quarterly leap. I mean, it got this move back to the year to date with really good timing, and it has just been pinching and just consolidating in there. So there's a breakout here. I mean, if it comes out and breaks out over the year to date, it's probably going to continue. But if it breaks down below the Q2, that's probably going to continue. Now look at Solana here. Solana about to get its year-to-date leap. I do think that this is going to happen. I think that Solana is going to get that quarterly leap. And that's going to be awesome because we've been talking about it on the stream for over a month now. Now check out Solana coming down, sweeping the previous daily candle low, holding the 5-day SMA, buyers stepping in a daily Heikin-Ashi uptrend. I really hope that my streams make you guys more patient and just slightly better traders. And I just, you know, I want you guys to pay attention to these moves in a prevailing trend that look obvious, you know? I love those moves. The daily chart is almost all you need, man. You don't even need to zoom in lower than the daily, technically. But I like these buyers stepping in on Solana. It does seem like that quarterly leap is still a possibility. Yeah, a couple of these coins got crazy pumps. Sui, Ondo, Toncoin. There was a couple like real winners, man. Conviction really pays, man. Like, you have to believe in something. Not really don't chase these moves. Just pick something and believe in it. You know, one stock I was looking at, someone in the VIP has been curious about Costco. Costco had this wonderful 2-week wave. I think it was a monthly Trigger wave here. Look at that green dot on Costco. Absolutely beautiful. The only problem is the last few months have been very choppy. Like if you're in an actual call option on Costco, it hasn't been good for you because it's been sideways here. But you know, if it's a call option that's far enough out, if your expiry is like closer to the end of the year and not just like, oh, next month, I think it'll go up by next month, this could look good for you guys. I think that this is gearing up for some sort of like ascending triangle breakout here on Costco going into, you know, the next couple months. I think that there's a lot of bullish potential here. This is a big, thick money flow wave and a fresh monthly bullish cross. It's just kind of hit this like little short-term snag, and the sideways is really devastating for options traders. So, but just know that this ascending triangle does seem to be running its course. It does seem to be in the last 30% of that constriction there. Palantir, I'm going to look at this stock because Palantir was huge last year. But this year there's warning signs. I did give puts on Palantir earlier in the year, but I got out of them quickly. You can see Palantir got this bearish yearly leap. Look at that move, guys. A beautiful return to last year's VWAP to the downside. Not really sure if Palantir's dumpage is done yet, but right now Palantir is, like this year, Palantir has been bearish. So I would wait for like the 5-day SMA, the 20-day trend, all these things to like flip bullish again before I was talking good about Palantir. Now look at MicroStrategy here, guys. MicroStrategy, beautiful market cipher basic strategy on the daily. I mean, look at this action here. Look at that money flow trending up. Money flow's in the green now. Running into some bear div, but it's not the end of the world yet. I think it's possible that, you know, with the tailwind of this rising 5 MA and the rising 20-day MA coming up here, now there could even be a crash down into that rising 20-day and it could still hold. But, I mean, look at this move, guys. A 72% gap between the current year to date and last year's year to date on MSTR. That's where all the volume is from last year. So in the event of a bullish Bitcoin scenario where Bitcoin goes to like 100K post Fed pivot over the summer, wipes out the shorts and sweeps the Q1 high, potentially before more macro dumpage, we could expect MicroStrategy to come up here to around that $250 level. If you pull VWAPs from all this area up here, I mean, all the volume is up higher here. Let's take a look at Circle. I did some calls on Circle. We were bullish on Circle from this year-to-date leap. Like, we got the new year-to-date. It had a wonderful year-to-date leap, and I closed my options right there because I didn't want to mess around with that year-to-date VWAP resistance. It was a really good call too. But now we're holding in this pinch. I'm not sure if it's ready to bust just yet, but it looks a little bit like Ethereum, right? Where there's this kind of like ascending look to it, like it's battering down last year's year-to-date. So, you know, hopefully the Clarity Act with more clear rules around stablecoins is helpful for Circle, because Circle is USDC coin. They are the US favorite, the US backed wing of the stablecoin industry. So it's cool that they're publicly traded, man. I mean, it's been an absolute blast trading Circle. It had a wonderful move earlier in the year, this year-to-date leap. And so, I mean, I love this chart. I love how it plays out, and I'm going to keep following it. and I wish them well, man. I love stable coins. Like I mean, stable coins are the. I love stable coins almost as much as I love Bitcoin. Like I think they're like one of the greatest inventions ever. We got to take a look at Zcash real quick, guys. So Zcash still holding. Look what's going on here on Zcash. This is kind of brutal here. Multiple days of taking out yesterday's low, but ultimately buyers stepping in here at last week's VWAP, holding the month to date, holding that strong Heikinashi daily trend. I think we could be going back up to the highs potentially here, guys. I think Zcash could reach its true high post Fed pivot. We'll have to keep following this. Obviously, it's you know, I'm not telling anyone along the top. There's some potentially some good scalping to be had in this uptrend from advantageous levels, but I'm definitely not telling anyone to FOMO into Zcash at the highs. That's not really my thing. Catching up with the chats here. Chris Kelly says, thank you for coming out night after night. Definitely appreciate. Thank you, man. Decrypto says, today showed us if equities nuke, cryptos will follow. So, all-time high, one more time for equities, then the house of cards comes down. Just my thoughts. Yeah, man, I think that this Fed pivot could be the last gasp. You know, it's like this is the last little rally. Ultimately, though, these big shifts, these big Fed shifts that happen every 4 years, they mark the beginning of a very negative downturn for the markets for like a period of time. Joe Brown says, I like the real stonks coverage. Yeah, man, if you guys have any stonks that you want me to go over, like I do have some marked out here. One that I was really looking at was UNH. Like this is the Luigi Mangione stock. It had this massive crash following the CEO getting assassinated. I was bullish here immediately when that happened, but truthfully, it hasn't really gone anywhere. It's been very range bound and not friendly to, you know, long-term bullish options plays. But it has remained a good investment. Like right now, you know, it's back over 2 year-to-date VWAPs. And one thing notable is Berkshire Hathaway aped into this thing. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was like this Berkshire Hathaway aped in down here. They got some immediate follow through, but look, then they crashed all the way down and they got squeezed again. But this is a forceful rally, man. So I think UNH could be a good investment, guys. And you would be investing alongside Warren Buffett's foundation, even though he's retired. Looking at NEM, this is my favorite gold mining corporation here. For now, it's holding over that year today, and it's shaking off this common retracement that a lot of charts get. I would be cautious of this bearish year-to-date leap idea on this gold mining stock. That's why I haven't really touched it. But admittedly, it does seem to be like very floaty up here and holding on top of this year-to-date. Similar to like other very bullish stocks. Like I think Google did this. Look what Google did, guys. See, Google doesn't get that retracement. It fades it and it goes back up over. I think Tesla did this as well. No, Tesla did actually get that retracement, but yeah, there's different types of yearly leaps. Like if it's a really bullish chart, it won't go down there. I think Nvidia was one of those super bullish. Yeah, look at Nvidia getting this very floaty price action, and it seems like this VWAP from the low. Look at this perfect tap of the VWAP from the low. Oh, what a sneaky, cheeky VWAP that was, man. Ooh. man, you're in puts from the absolute top. You're an absolute wizard. You called the top. You're thinking, you know, a new year's coming. We got to go back to last year's VWAP, you know? But you come down into this rising VWAP from the low, and you're faced with a major decision. Do you let go of the yearly leap or not, man? And that may have wrecked a lot of people. I personally was not shorting Nvidia, but this was a brutal bounce off that VWAP from the low on Nvidia there. Yeah, man. Always watch out for the VWAP from the high and the low. You know, I mean, we're looking at the VWAP from the high on Bitcoin. This is why I'm talking about this particular VWAP. I mean, shit, if you put a VWAP on this high, look at that, guys. We're right there, man. So if we were to invert this chart, look, you invert the chart. Doesn't that look kind of bullish to you guys? Doesn't this look bullish? You know, I mean, basically, if you flip the chart upside down, we're holding this beautiful support on this VWAP. And here we are getting this other interaction. And there's also like major bullish divergence here. See, the waves have flattened out. The RSIs are basically like at their limits. So this is a worrisome. Yeah, Kronk in the chat is doing dinosaur emojis, freaking out, man. He's flopping and groping. That doesn't look so hot, man. Yeah, man. So hopefully my analysis doesn't get you salivating at the lips. I wanted to bring you down to earth. I want to slap you with a fish and slap some sense into you on this channel. Unlike some people around here. Sometimes I'll do the dick sucking thumbnails and stuff to get your guys' attention, but you know it's just joking. Like, you know that, you know, that's a part of guru maxing is the open mouth thumbnails and like doing a bunch of burpees before you take it too, so you're like max sweaty and fucked up looking like Crypto, bro. Yeah, man. That's you know, we're approaching the end of the spiel here, guys, but you know, this daily chart, the trend is still alive. It's looking hella divergent, but we haven't lost anything major just yet. So, yeah, man. I guess we're just ranging going into this Fed pivot. I would have loved to see at the start of this week, last week's range get taken out. I wanted to see that high get taken out. I wanted to see this low down here get taken out, but we're sticking to the top of this range. It's looking like it might just slow range into the weekend, and then maybe it has this one last pump up here, you know, and then down. But that's pretty much it, man. We did the Wordle, we went over everything, man. We went over the heat map, we went over all that stuff, man. If you guys are curious, in a breakout challenge here, we got One Step Classics discounted with code FG here at breakoutprop.com. And just make sure you guys smash the likes on the way out if you guys could. Let's see how many likes we got in here. If I could get you guys to like the stream, that would be great. We got 34 likes on the stream. Try to get me to 50 likes. That helps me stay afloat with the algorithm. And if you're just tuning in, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I come out almost every day. I never miss more than one day. Sometimes I'm busy working with people, or I got some stuff going on. But lately, I've found a lot of solace coming out and discussing these Bitcoin charts with you guys. So, best of luck to you guys. I'll be back tomorrow evening and God bless you.